Hello, I am Dr. Randall Bell and welcome to Core IQ. I am with Jill Pillsbury to talk about a really kind of fun, simple, but powerful concept called the full glass theory. Jill, I think you know, I used to volunteer at the homeless shelter down the street, and this came up all the time in the homeless shelter, but it comes up with executives or, rich and powerful people. And
right.
And it's basically, but it comes up a lot with people who are kind of marginalized in society. I was just in jail Sunday night, with people in jail doing volunteer work. And the metaphor is this. Let me kind of explain it to you.
Okay.
And then let's talk it through.
Great.
So basically the core IQ skill here is if you got a glass, and let's say it holds 24 ounces, okay? That's kind of a metaphor for time because we all have 24 hours in a day. I mean, you have 24 hours in a day, I have 24 hours in a day. Everybody here has 24 hours in a day. It's kind of the great equalizer. Just because you are in one place or another doesn't mean you have more or less time. And let's say your glass is full of junk, okay? Let's just say it's full of icky, gooey
Like,
junk.
what do you mean in practical sense?
Well, like, let's say, meeting with the people in jail, they got some junk, okay? They've made some serious mistakes.
Some guilt, some anxiety.
Some guilt, anxiety. Maybe you've gotten into drugs or alcohol abuse, any kind of abuse.
Relationship issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't have to necessarily be in jail or prison or in a homeless shelter. Let's just say, a lot of people we're here in Orange County have, on the veneer, they look great, but inside they got lots of anxiety,
right?
Or they're upset or something.
Problem with a child or a parent.
Pick your thing.
Got it.
So you got a bunch of junk, but you have choices. You can look at the junk, you can play with the junk, you can try and add chemicals and treat the junk. But the approach that I use in talking about this is something kind of unique, and that is when I talk to the people in the homeless shelter, in jail, or in prison, I say, I don't care about your junk. It's not that I'm a jerk. It's not that I don't care about you, but I don't want to sit around in the limited time that we have and talk about your junk or my junk or anybody's junk. I don't really care, honestly, what that looks like. And believe me, I've heard some pretty crazy stories, but I'm not interested. Mm-hmm. What I'm interested is where we're going. And if we have that junk, we have these options of playing around with it, but the option that really is effective is if we start pouring in new habits that are good habits. There's only so much room in the glass, and the junk is eventually going to kind of start, getting dissolved and being kind of displaced. Now, it's not pretty at first because at first you start pouring in new habits and it starts overflowing with the junk and it's kind of messy.
Right.
And you just keep pouring them in and pouring them in and pouring them in. And before you know it, you got, all the junk's out.
Right.
And you're full of good habits. So some examples of some good habits, what do you think?
I would say exercise.
Yeah.
Eating healthy, communication with friends or family or peers. I always am a fan of volunteering, getting out into your community, making a new community base, getting outside of your own head. I think it's a brilliant theory, and I think it's a really simple way to challenge yourself to make some changes. And I get it. At first, if your glass is full of a lot of junk, which a lot of people's is, let's face it, we all have our thing. It can seem overwhelming, I would imagine, to all of a sudden just start pouring in new healthy habits. So, I would say it's such a simple, easy, brilliant theory. Just get started.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself to change one or two things or get rid of one or two types of junk in your glass.
Well, just start pouring it. What I say to the homeless people is, I don't care what you got going wrong. That's wrong. Forget it. We're not going to spend a minute talking about it. We're going to talk about go and read a good book.
Yeah.
Go down to the beach and meditate or pray or whatever you're into. Go on a walk.
Sign up for a class.
All these things, none of these things cost a dime.
Right.
And yet they all displace the junk. And as we find ourselves doing more and more of these good things, naturally the bad stuff's going to go away.
I love that approach, Randy. Rather than going back in time and sitting and stewing about it, it's a really proactive behavioral approach. Yeah. Choose something, one thing, don't let it be overwhelming. Like you say, go for a walk, sign up for a new class, make a new friend, call someone, plan an outing. Just get moving forward and pouring in some new habits.
Yeah, just keep pouring them in. And, I kind of joke with them. I say, you can talk about your junk with a clinical psychologist that comes in on Wednesday. But with me, I'm a sociologist. I rather that we just talk about the new good stuff we're going to pour into the glass. You know, it's funny. The other day, I learned that an NFL star had read my book, and his new habit was to start making his bed.
Wow.
Because, yeah, I correlated mathematically that if you make your bed in the morning, you're 207% more likely to become a millionaire. So there's an example of just a new habit.
Yep.
And as you add these new habits, the bad stuff goes away. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a matter of math. There's only 24 hours in a day, and they're filled up with good stuff. The bad stuff doesn't have room to get in.
And again, if it helps, you know, write down what are your new habits? What are a couple things that you're going to do to fill your glass?
That's it. It's the full glass theory. It's simple, but it's very powerful. I've seen it work over and over and over again. So with Core IQ, like it, share it, talk about it, do the worksheets, and make sure that you discuss it with your family, friends, and we'll see you next time.